Welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, you got your guys Kenny, Ryan, and Brian, my boys. What's the latest?
Just chilling, bro.
I'm chilling.
Chilling. How's your week?
This is the same shit
I've been
another day,
chilling
baby.
at home.
Yeah,
I'm quarantined up.
You're on vacation, right?
I'm on vacation. Yeah, cleaning. Well, not today.
Anyway, man, I'm glad you guys are doing good. Let's get straight to it. We have a lot to cover, a lot of stuff going on in all the sports, right? So let me just touch on college football last week. We had the infamous Penn State versus Ohio State, which the first half, it was a pretty good game, right? It was close. And then fourth quarter, as Antonio Brown would say, Ohio State put that shit on. And they got Penn State out of there. Then, they hit the Florida-Georgia game, which is in Jacksonville. Georgia came out the gate. Florida tried to tighten it up a little bit, but then Georgia pulled away at the end. Which was kind of expected. Everybody knew that was going to happen. I think the game of the week that kind of confused or kind of threw me off a little bit was the Kansas State-Oklahoma State game, right? I had Oklahoma State, if you're tracking for the BK bets. I said, man, we should be able to cover this one. And it was a 48 to a donut. Kansas State completely dogged them out, and that threw me off for sure. We had the Kentucky-Tennessee game, which a lot of people say could be something because Levis came back, but it was nothing. 44-6, Tennessee handled that easily. They weren't looking forward to Georgia. They were, handle business that game. So this week is actually going to be pretty interesting. You got Georgia versus Tennessee, which I think is going to be a pretty good game. I think everything else is kind of like Texas plays Kansas State. That's okay. Wake Forest plays NC State, which is going to be, in-state rivalry. The North Carolina rivalry, if you guys are familiar with that, is pretty big. But other than that, it's really going to come down to that game. Alabama plays LSU, right? That's good. But, Alabama, we're going to do what we do, right? LSU, they had a little win against Ole Miss, so people looking at them as being better than expected. But let's not forget that Tennessee blew them out by like 30. Right, so yeah, Ole Miss looked good, but it's not. Tennessee, Georgia, that's all that matters. Anyway, NBA. Really, we're just still in the beginning of the season right now. Milwaukee Bucks still undefeated. The Phoenix Suns 6-1. The Portland Trail Blazers are 5-1. A lot of the stars are playing really well right now, which is good for NBA. Right, it's attracting a lot of people early up. Sometimes some guys struggle. I'm happy that John Wall is actually performing right now. He's performing pretty well. I like how the Clippers look. The Lakers, of course, are the Lakers. We're trash. And then, surprisingly, the Golden State Warriors have fallen off a little bit, right? They started off hot, but right now they're 3-5 on a 3-game losing streak. So curious to see what's going on down there. Same thing with the Memphis Grizzlies. They lost the last two. So right now, the San Antonio Spurs surprisingly are on fourth place. I know it's early, like Brian says all the time when we talk about hockey, and it's still early, right? But it's good to see, Coach Pop still coaching them up and getting them right. And the same thing with the New Orleans Pelicans is surprising as well. The Boston Celtics are 4-2. They only lost one game, Brian, since the last time we were here, so don't get too upset. They're good, right? And then Brooklyn Nets, they got rid of Steve Nash, right? We'll talk a little bit later about, getting Brian's opinion on what he believes about the new hire. But for the moment being, the Brooklyn Nets have got rid of Steve Nash, which if you were tracking the Brooklyn Nets the beginning of the season, since the beginning of the season, KD's biggest thing was, I don't want Steve Nash there. They kind of had like a little tension. He didn't believe in his coaching abilities.
So Kenny,
and yep.
Why did Kevin Durant act surprised when Steve Nash was fired?
Because I think he acted surprised when Steve Nash was fired because of the original conversation that they had in the summertime. They had the thought process of like, let's make this work. Steve is going to get us to the promised land in a sense, right? The owner and how you say the owner's last name, Tice, or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, him and Steve Nash had met with Kevin Durant and they had that conversation. So I thought Kevin Durant thinking like, okay, well, at least we're going to go through the whole season, right? But starting off 2-6 is never good when you're down there with the Detroit Pistons and Orlando Magics, and you have a roster that they have. Right, that doesn't even make
That's
sense.
because nobody
So
on that team likes to play defense.
yeah, that's a little bit true too. But if you look at even the Miami Heat are struggling, right? They're at 3-5. Um, the 76ers, like think about it. Out of last year, you have the 76ers, Miami, and Brooklyn that are near the bottom with the Pacers, the Pistons, Magic, and the Hornets. When you hear those names and you're associated with that, that's never good, right? Even though it's still early, but yeah, but that's all I got for NBA and NFL. I'm not NFL and NCAA. I know college is starting up in a couple weeks or maybe in 2 weeks, I think. So we'll see some more action come with that. But yeah, that's what we got.
All right.
Hey, I
what?
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is LeBron going to retire?
No, so he's not going to retire. I think. Speaking of LeBron, right? Everybody was talking about his son. Is getting to go into his senior year. So he's a 4-star right now, and LeBron wants him to be one and done. And a lot of coaches are like, it's kind of weighing on their ability to recruit a little bit, just because like LeBron and the family, the James family as a whole, are not high maintenance, but LeBron's willing or expectation that his son's going to be one and done. It's kind of bothering people a little bit because they don't see him as one and done. They see him as maybe 1 or 2 years, and maybe he could go one and done, but probably 2 years or 3 years until he gets out. And LeBron doesn't see it that way, so they're like, that's kind of bothering them a little bit for the coaching decision. But we'll see what happens. I think
Where's he going again?
They don't know yet.
Oh, they don't. He hasn't
So
decided.
I know Brown wants him to go to Ohio State, so it's most likely he'll probably go to Ohio State unless something crazy happens, right? But yeah, if he goes to Ohio State, I think he does has the talent to be one and done because he's very cerebral and he has the God given ability to do everything else, right? So it just comes. He can have the Devin Booker approach, right? Devin Booker came out. Not a lot of people thought Devin Booker was really good, but then look at him now, right? So, but I don't know how LeBron's going to make it work where he's going to go play with his son. He's going to have to like play for free.
He probably will, like, because that's his goal. He doesn't care about the money at that point.
Yeah,
He's made so much money.
He's a billionaire, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So,
all right, we'll get into baseball real quick. We're in the World Series. The Phillies are up 2-1.
The who?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, okay.
They are playing above expectations for sure. They've gotten hot at the right time.
Above expectations, or they're playing really well. Like they're playing really well. The bats are swinging. The pitching is good. They're not playing above expectations. They're kind of doing their normal.
Kenny, they only won like 85 games or something like that, 87 games. Like they squeaked into the playoffs. Like normally a team with that record, people don't expect much from them. What I'm saying though is they've gotten hot and now they're playing really well.
6-6. Maybe it's scoring. Yeah.
But yeah, they're playing Game 4 right now. It's in Philly, so all Philly has to do is hang on to home field, and they will win the World Series. I will note that the one win the Houston Astros got, there was a bit of suspect cheating going on, probably. The Houston pitcher was often going to his right hand. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he's often taking his left hand and rubbing it on his palm of his right hand.
Oh my god!
And then wiping it on the ball and then repeating. And I'm just saying, the guy might have been using a little spider tack or something along those lines because I think he had like 7 innings of like almost perfect baseball. Like so,
but it makes sense too. It makes sense too when you look at the runs. Right, Phillies go 6 runs, and they score 7 runs in Game 3, and then Game 2 they only have 2, and it was only after Buddy left.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm just pointing out the facts. You guys can take it from there.
After he left, it was in one in the 7th and one in the 9th, but nothing in the first 6.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Like, yeah.
Take that for what you want, but hey, it's the Houston Cheaters, That's what they're known for. So
yeah, but they're not dumb enough to do it while everyone's watching.
yeah, yes, they are, because they think they can get away with it.
Especially if nobody says anything.
Right.
If nobody
and the Phillies didn't say anything.
Cool.
Man, Houston can't catch a break because Texans ownership is nothing better. So like, Houston's just a terrible
So dog,
City
for sports, yeah,
for
for now,
sports,
for ownership and stuff like that, and
yeah.
just a bad stigma altogether. Also, I don't know if you guys saw it in game one. After game one, Nick Castellanos, he's the outfielder for the Phillies. He like lifted his shirt up at the end of the game
I did
to
see that.
show that he doesn't have anything wired up to his chest, because that was one of the scandals that Houston was blamed for a couple years ago. Was that Altuve had like a vibrating, like something that vibrated on his chest to tell him when pitches were coming, like a certain pitch. So I thought that was kind of funny.
hold on. So he did that when he was batting or when he's an announcer?
Who?
You
Castellanos,
said
when he was running off
Castellanos.
the field, he did that
Oh,
after
okay,
they
cool.
won game one, and just to show he's like, hey, we won without wires, like type of thing, like just to troll
That's
them.
dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny, little entertainment there. But so yeah, if I had to guess, I think the Phillies are going to win this, because like I said, Houston had to cheat for their one win. So I mean,
Yeah, I think it's very hard if they do. It's right now it's tied 0-0, but if they do win this, it's going to be hard not for Philly not to get one game.
right.
It's going to be very hard because they're swinging really well with the bats, and Bryce Harper is looking like what people want him to be. You know what
Bryce
I mean?
Harper's back to having that magical bat. Like he had that like 1 or 2 good years in Washington where he just lit the world on fire, and then he kind of fell off, but now he seems to be back. So,
and like last year, he was more contact. He was still hitting home runs, more contact. But right now, the ball is like jumping off the bat. Like it's like he went and called Thor or something like that to get some extra power because it's jumping off the bat when he swings.
yeah. But anyways,
Are you tracking? You know some more about baseball, like it's actually bats and stuff like that, like ounces and all that.
yeah, it has to be within a certain range of ounces and length. And
How crazy is a 37-inch, 18-ounce? I think it's 37-ounce, 18-inch. I don't know, barrel. Is that one of the two?
Well,
I saw some video they had with Bryce Harper swinging it at like 18 years old. It looks like an extremely long bat, and he was just swinging in there like, oh my gosh, look at it, and it's just like,
yeah, I forget the exact way that they have to measure bats. Like there's a certain dimension they have to stay within.
Dimension, yeah.
You start at the base and go down the shaft, right?
All right, I'm done. I'm done.
No, that's how you measure your wood. Anyways, we'll move on. Let's go to hockey.
Jess looked at me like, what?
All right. Hockey, again, we're only about 3-4 weeks in, about 3 weeks, I think. Boston is still the hottest team in hockey. I'm going to end up with my foot in my mouth by the end of the year because they're out to prove me wrong where I said that they would barely make it playoffs and then lose in the first round. Right now, they're the number one team. The only team that's even close to them is Vegas, the Vegas Knights, which is in the West Conference. So those teams are beating the brakes off of teams, everybody. It's unreal for Boston, though. I just have to point this out. They just got back. Now I'm drawing a blank on his name. The little ball of hate, Marchand, Brad Marchand. They're like one of their best wings. He just came back on Halloween, and they still have been missing their best defender, Charlie Coyle. I mean, not Charlie Coyle, Charlie McAvoy. So, in theory, they should only get better. So, it's scary to think that they're playing this well and they're not even fully loaded right now. I remember I mentioned last time that Tampa was not doing well. Well, they're now in third place. So, rest assured, they are back in business. Heads. So, don't you worry.
Got that WD-40 on his.
Yeah, they must have listened to the podcast and be like, "Oh, we're doing bad. What?" They're back.
These motherfuckers is talking shit on us.
Right.
Okay, let's show them something.
Yeah. So I mean, I always thought Tampa was going to bounce back anyway. So they're going to be in the thick of it. I still think they might end up as the number one seed by the time the season's all over. Like Kenny said, long ass season. So I mean, we're only 10 games in. Got 72 more to go. So, Another thing to note, my boy in Edmonton, Connor McDavid, he's leading the way in MVP voting so far. Again, hot start for him. I'll say it again. He's like the new Wayne Gretzky. And now watch his numbers plummet now that I've said that again, like last year. So we'll see how that goes. But the dude's unreal. If you ever want to watch a great hockey player, got to watch Edmonton. Connor McDavid, man, he's the real deal. So anything you guys have for hockey? No?
Of course.
All
Not.
right.
Do you want to know how to measure the sticks, Kenny?
Oh, and baseball?
No.
Doesn't it have something to do with
No.
the plate? Oh,
Good
the hockey sticks?
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I wasn't sure if there's like a certain degree bend that it has to have.
I think there is.
There probably is.
I think there really is. I think that they can only bend it so far.
All right. We'll talk to our hockey expert and figure it out and tell them next week.
Yeah.
You guys ready for football?
Always.
Of course, there's so much going on.
Yeah, there was a big week, so I'm just gonna go down. I have the list up here of the trades that happened at the deadline. Hopefully, this is something new that's gonna happen more and more. Because like in recent years, like there was a lot of trades that went down this week, like right coming up to the trade deadline, and I don't remember it in years past happening the same way. So I think where we left off the last time on the podcast, we talked about the Robert Quinn trade from the Bears to the Eagles, so they were loading up. The Giants, I thought were going to trade for a wide receiver, but instead they decided to trade a wide receiver. So they're trading Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs. So they're getting in exchange a conditional 2023 third round pick and a 2023 sixth round pick. I don't think it's a bad move for both parties. Kadarius went from being injured with the Giants to now he's fully healthy with the Chiefs. So,
hey, that's what happens when you with winners, right?
We're winners.
Get healthy.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, like longevity winners,
Yeah.
not just like thief in the night winners.
Yeah, I mean, he was not a good fit for the coaching staff. Obviously, I mean, week one they had him on the field for 2 snaps. Like either, whether it was the playbook or he wasn't working hard, and like something didn't match up with them. So whatever.
But realistically, what receiver has been besides Robinson? What receiver has been great for Dayball? It's like he doesn't like any of the guys.
Yeah, and he probably
You know what
doesn't.
I mean?
He probably doesn't. To be honest with you, we picked up some dude from the Buffalo practice squad, or some dude that got cut by the Bills this last week. Like that's what he's doing. He's trying to get his guys in there, and we'll see what happens. I mean, they know they're surprisingly winning games, but it's kind of to their own, like it's really bad for them because they're just ruining their draft pick further and further, but we're not going to win anything. Whatever. Let's not talk about the Giants. The Ravens get some help at the linebacker position, which is pretty nice. They trade for Roquan Smith from the Bears. What do they get? They give another linebacker, AJ Klein, and a second rounder and a fifth rounder. So the Ravens give up a little bit to get a premium linebacker, which is, I think, what they need. What do you guys think of that one?
I love the trade. I was actually personally pissed that the Patriots weren't in on him because they need a middle linebacker, and obviously Bill's a defensive guy. So
I like it because it frees up Queen, right? I don't feel like Queen was like a real solid Mike. I think he's more of a will, could be outside linebacker. So it frees him up to kind of like stop thinking as much and kind of roam around and do what he wants. And then it lets, Roquan be on a team that actually cares about winning, and, he can lead a defense that they're going to rally behind him and actually go. Not saying that the Bears didn't care about winning, but it's not the same type of pedigree. And I think he fits that system better for himself.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like that one. I think this one was the biggest surprise to me. I had heard rumblings of this player getting traded, but I did not think that they would trade within their own division. The Lions have traded TJ Hawkinson and 2 fourth-round picks to the Vikings in exchange for a 2023 second and a 2024 third. So
What
that's
does
a
that
pretty
tell
good
you,
deal for
though?
the Vikings. It means that they were worried about the injury for Irv Smith because I think he's on IR now,
Yep.
but he's out for a while with an ankle injury, and the Vikings are clearly in a win now. Like, we have to do it now.
They are, because they see the crack in the Packers and the rest of the division's
Mhm.
weak. So they're going to make the playoffs. So their window
Yeah,
is right
they're
now.
going to wind up. Yeah, I can see that, right? From if you're talking about a division standpoint, I can see that, but they ain't winning shit.
Why not?
Like, their defense is not good. They're not. Their defense is not good, and
They got some good
until
pieces
Kirk
on
Cousins,
there. Their defense.
I'm not saying they don't have good pieces, right? Yeah, they have a lot of good pieces for a while, but they're just not consistent. And it's the same thing on offense, right? Until Kirk Cousins is more consistent, then it doesn't matter, right? Because when Kirk Cousins is more consistent, then Dalvin Cook runs better, then Justin Jefferson gets more involved, then Adam Thielen gets open more. Like it's a revolving effect. I hope TJ can help him out, but it really starts for Kirk Cousins. Like everything else goes to flows right off of him.
I mean,
So
they've only lost one game, so they're 6-1. So it's yes, consistency is an issue, and Kirk Cousins, I agree, can't play with the lights on. So,
but I'm saying they
that's an
haven't
issue.
those 6 games. Who have they played though? That's worthy. You're right. They haven't really played anybody too tough. All right, like they beat the Packers week 1, right, or week 2, and that was
Mhm.
it. Other than that, it was kind of been like bottom of the barrel team. So
Well, you'll see. They're getting ready to play the Patriots, which are a former
that's
playoff team.
a bottom of a barrel team.
I was just kidding. They're gonna play after they play Miami. They play this. They beat the Saints. They beat Miami. I mean, they beat Chicago. They beat Detroit. And they lost to Philly. And they beat Green Bay.
Miami. That's it.
Yeah.
Miami's the only team they beat that was quality.
And they beat Arizona.
Okay, Miami's the only team they beat that's quality.
Okay, well, they're playing Washington this week.
That's not. Does that mean that the NFL doesn't have any good teams in it, basically?
They really don't, though. Like, really, it's 3 good teams, and then, like, I see, like, 3 superior teams, right? The Eagles, Kansas City, and Buffalo. And then, like, I will put Miami, like, borderline there, but I'll put Miami, right? You shake your head like that. You guys keep shaking your head like that, but Tua keeps coming back snapping. Fingers and all, head, back hurting all. He came back snapping. Okay, so with that being said, right? Miami, I would say I would put the Vikings in there. And then I think like teams like the 49ers, if they squeak in there, the Giants, if they squeak in there, they're going to be battle tested, right? The Ravens as well. Like those are like that middle pack. They're not superior, but they're like, if you have to play them, you might have a rough time.
I mean, for a guy that said, who have they played? He just played Detroit. He came back snapping against the worst defense in the league.
And they almost lost, actually. Like, I mean, against the worst defense in the league. I'm just saying.
Did they beat the Bills? Did they beat the Ravens?
Okay.
Like, what are we talking about? With Tua. Stop it. Don't act like he's been over here don't act like he just lost to you know what I mean? Like we're talking about Kirk Cousins.
Hey man, I will say I was impressed by Miami beating the Bills. I will give them credit for that.
Yeah.
But not the Ravens game, because the defensive coordinator didn't know, hey, we gotta get back because Tyreek Hill's fast. Idiot.
But it was a comeback, though. It was a comeback in that. So you got to give him something for having some heart, right?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Dude, it doesn't matter.
All right, sure.
Those wide receivers are so good. So good. And they fit Tua's, like, throwing style. Like, he doesn't have to be crazy.
They fit his throwing style now.
He doesn't have to be accurate at all. He just throws it up.
He just throws it to him, and like they just they do have to work. What's the yards after catch?
You got some haters. Oh my god.
I'm not a hater. I am on your side with Tua.
He's been throwing some dots this year. The same guy that everybody said he can't even throw it anywhere. He's trash. He sucks. He's throwing dots this year,
I
and he's
think
missed
he's
half the
great.
games because Miami didn't want to get so for the whole team and shit. But like, whatever.
Man, you're just on the Tua hype train because you got him in fantasy.
No, I'm not on Tua. I've been talking about Tua before we even did fantasy. I said that all year.
He's a Bama guy. Like, what do you want from him?
Yeah.
Even though he hates Mac Jones.
I don't hate Mac Jones. I think Zappy's better. That's all.
Would you stop?
Hey, the Steelers have traded Chase Claypool. Where did he go? Chicago, right?
Yeah, he went to the Bears.
Yeah, see, a good thing I remember that because I read this and it says it's the Browns. He was definitely
Nah,
not
he
traded
went
to
to
the
the Bears.
Browns. He was traded to the Bears.
Yeah.
I think they gave up like a second-round pick for him.
Mhm.
It was a pretty high pick, so we'll see what. I think it's a good move for both parties because he was just not being utilized the right way with the Steelers, and not the right way, but I think they like Deontay. They just gave him the contract, and they love Pickens, and I just don't think they had enough like offense to get the ball to Chase Claypool. So I think this works out for the player and the teams involved.
Yeah, I think they just Pickens and Claypool are very similar, like route running abilities. So it kind of like butts heads on that, right? So you're gonna take a chance on the younger guy than the older guy, right?
I
I don't know how the Bears match up with that. I don't feel like that's a good fit for the
so
Bears though.
I will say this: the Bears have been trashed the first like 5 weeks of the season, but the last couple weeks, Justin Fields has been doing pretty well. Like
They've been
whether
running
they
the shit out of the ball.
yeah, they're trying to figure it out. I think I read something earlier that like Darnell Mooney has played a lot of the game and the slot recently.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
last year, when he's been good, he's been playing on the outside. So he plays better on the outside. Having someone like Claypool come in, that's where he was playing in the slot for the Steelers. Maybe that opens up, and I would like to see where they put him.
Yeah, if they put Claypool in the slot, he's not going to be effective. He's not quick enough, right? Like Mooney in the slot is was to get him the ball quicker, right? They didn't think he was actually a guy, so they put him in the slot to give him the ball quicker, right? But the biggest thing on that is in order to put a guy in the slot, you have to have somebody that's a possession receiver
On the
to
outside.
attract somebody, right? So Claypool's going to get some attention, and then you got St. Brown, which is going to blow the top off, and then now you got Mooney who could eat a little bit. I just hope that they keep feeding Mooney and not say, okay, Claypool's here, let's try to give him the ball, like just work him in as it goes, right?
Yep.
Because what they got right now, like people, they played the Cowboys and it was close. It wasn't close as a game to score show because they had turnovers, but other than that, they were giving the Cowboys a run for their money though. Like they were running the ball, moving the ball efficiently. So
Yeah. I don't know the draft picks for this, but the Steelers picked up William Jackson from the Commanders. Another big trade. The Broncos traded Bradley Chubb to where'd he go, Kenny?
to the Fins.
To the Dolphins. So they traded Bradley Chubb and a 5th-round pick, and in return they got a 2023 first-round pick, 4th-round pick, and Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds was kind of getting phased out of the offense.
Kinda.
It's because he wasn't that good.
Okay. Yeah. He got phased out of the offense. Raheem Mostert. So they needed to get a running back. So what did he do? He went over and got Jeff Wilson from the 49ers. He called his buddy over there, Kyle Shanahan, and was like, hey, can I get Jeff Wilson and match him up with Raheem Mostert again? Sure. And it's literally just the 49ers running backs from like a couple of years ago back in the backfield in Miami. Yeah. And I think that's a great move.
For sure, easily. And then I think it's perfect timing because Elijah Mitchell is coming off of the IR this week, supposedly. So you're gonna have Elijah Mitchell backing up CMC, which is he's been a stud. He's like, oh my gosh, people block for me. He's been looking good over there.
Here's the thing. Jeff Wilson has been he's been playing well for the 49ers. And they got CMC now, so they don't really need him. And Jeff Wilson does a lot of damage in the passing game. And that's kind of how they use Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson did a lot of the passing work, and then Raheem Mostert ran in between the 20s. I could see that being a similar way forward. Um, and I think Raheem Mostert in previous years, anytime he's gotten the ball more, like he's getting a heavy workload, and they
Mm-hmm.
can't sustain that if they're trying to make a run into
And get
December
hurt.
January timeframe. Like they're going to need somebody like Jeff Wilson to help take the load off. So unfortunately, Kenny, for fantasy purposes, it might be a, a bad thing because Jeff Wilson was always a vulture when he was with the 49ers back then. So it'll be
No.
tough to figure out those touchdowns.
I don't think it being is any different as far as utilization. Like if he goes in and catches some passes, maybe get a touchdown here or there. Like I don't think that takes away from Raheem Mostert still
Yeah.
getting his carries because like he's proven if he gets too many carries, he gets worn down and he
Yep.
gets hurt. Right. So rather like keep that longevity by him, splitting carries. I'm fine with.
Yep.
I don't need a running back to get 40 points or nothing like that. So I'm fine.
All right. Hey, everyone probably forgot about this man, but Calvin Ridley is suspended for the entirety of the 2022 season for betting. I think it was like $1,000 on the Falcons to win, and of course he lost that bet and lost his entire season with the Falcons this year. But he was traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for I think a 5th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick in 2024. As much as so, like there's conditions here. He probably has to like play and get a certain amount of yards or
Is
starting bonus.
play and if he signs a long term extension,
They get a
it goes
second.
higher.
Yeah, that's pretty. I think that's a good move for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they know that they're not here. Like even though their division kind of sucks this year, they're not here to compete this year. They're here to build a team around Trevor Lawrence, ETN, who, man, they unloaded him this last weekend. He is so good.
Dog.
That
boy think he back at Clemson.
Every time I looked up, he was like through a gaping hole, like he was flying.
He's so explosive, bro.
Yeah, I think that they made the right decision to be like, look, they needed to get James Robinson out of there. We probably covered that a couple weeks ago. Robinson's with the Jets now. And then I think the last notable one is Nyheim Hines getting traded from the Colts for a conditional 5th-round pick and Zach Moss to the Bills. So Nyheim Hines is on the Bills now, and he'll be their pass catching back. And Singletary will continue to do what he's been doing. Fantasy-wise, that probably hurts Singletary a little bit because he has been doing the bulk of the catching out of the backfield, so he's probably going to lose some of those catches.
Hold on, you said Zach Moss went to the Colts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wanted to get him out there bad. He just wasn't a good fit for them.
Zach
Moss? I don't know why. Yeah, Zach Moss. I feel like Nyheim Hines is a faster and better Singletary, so I don't know how that even works out. So,
it'll be an interesting play. I think Nyheim Hines is a playmaker. So,
before you end, a quick question: what do you think about Jonathan Taylor?
For right now, you were right. Yeah, they've been terrible. Injuries have hurt him, so we'll see. But yeah, they've been pretty bad. The Colts in general have been bad.
Yeah.
They fired their offensive coordinator this week, I think.
As they should.
Even though he's not even the one calling the plays, but it's Frank Reich calling the plays, but he ain't gonna fire himself. So he fired his OC.
Gotta do something. I can't believe you called that play. You're fired.
And I would love to hear Brian's opinion on the Patriots' performance this week against the good old Jets.
Oh my gosh!
What did you think of Mac Jones? He didn't get benched, so there's a positive.
Yeah, I think he played better than most people believe. He had, I think, 5 really impressive 3rd down conversions in the first half. In the first half, he was pressured 49% of the time. Then he dropped back. So he was, usually that spells disaster for any quarterback. So the fact that really, other than that one pick 6 that got negated by the penalty, he wasn't that bad. It was ugly, but I think that's credit to the Jets defense. They were very good. So
that's how you get wins now, Ryan. He is like, you know what? How did he play? Well, he had 5 3rd down conversions. Nobody cares about that. Like, I
Okay.
understand you as a fan care about that, but like in the grand scheme of things, how do you do? And that's the best you can say. That's not telling us a
Well,
lot. That's not
I
good.
fully believe that if Bailey Zappi was in the game, they lose that game.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's a personal preference.
yeah, Bailey Zappi hasn't played a defense that can both pressure and cover like the Jets can.
Well, I guess we'll never know because
No, we won't.
Mac Jones cried to.
No, Kenny's going to
Kraft
say
and-
Zappi all year, and it's not going to matter. The Patriots can still win a bunch of games and maybe squeak in the playoffs. Like that's where they're
Ooh,
at.
another-
They're on the bubble.
They're not going to get into the playoffs.
They're the number 8 seed right now.
Okay.
Right now, they're gonna get worse.
Okay, I mean, yeah, it might.
If Zappi's not in, the Patriots can't win.
Oh my god!
So we had, remember, Brian, we counted them winning 9. I had them winning 9 games. That was winning the Jets game and winning the Bears game. So I'd be hard pressed for them to get to 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean,
That's if they win the games they should win.
right. But then they're going to play teams like, I mean, the Raiders. You never know which Raiders team you're going to get. Look at the Bengals. They look up and down as well. You never know what team you're going to see there. I mean, who knows? And
you got to play the Jets again, and maybe they don't. I don't know.
You're right.
Maybe they don't throw 3 interceptions.
You're right.
3 interceptions, and you only win by 5 points. Like,
all I'm saying is the Patriots can win these games. They're good enough to win, but they have to play nearly perfect to do so. Let's
talk about the elephant in the room. What is Damian Harris gonna do now that Ramondre Stevenson is the dog?
He's gonna get the scraps.
He's gonna watch.
I told you this was what's gonna happen. I knew. I said as soon as Harris gets injured one time, Stevenson's backfield.
They said, "Oh, we'll give him a couple catches." And
let's not get ahead of ourselves, though, because this is Bill Belichick MO. He'll write up a game plan and be like, "Screw all these people." Damian Harris is getting 20 carries this week. I don't think he could do it, but
even if
I would not be surprised.
He gave him a lot of carries last week, though.
I mean,
and he didn't do anything as much as Stevenson.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming back from a hamstring, so I'm not gonna. Damian Harris is still a hard runner. He's still going to get a lot of carries in this backfield because they're going to run the ball a lot. But Ramondre is going to get all the passing. He's going to be out there for that.
He's
and
James White, but can run.
James White could run. He just couldn't run
between
with
the
that.
tackles like that.
Right, because Ramondre is built like a power back, but he runs like a scab back. It's weird. He's
always trying to get to the outside. He's
not always. He's a patient runner. He's got good, like, quick feet. Like, he's just, I don't know, man. He could be a bell cow back if they want to use him like that.
11 carries for 37. And your boy and Damian Harris didn't practice today because of an illness.
Yeah,
that's his excuse.
That's the Belichick illness. Hey, can we?
Hey, you sick today?
The real elephant in the room, which I thought you were gonna say, is the Raiders. Man, they got goosed.
Yeah,
24-0 by the Saints.
Devontae Adams got strapped up.
He had like 1 point. Like Lattimore shut him down.
Lattimore was like horsing him a little bit. I've never seen Devontae Adams like that. He was like throwing him out of bounds. Like I was like,
I don't think Devontae's in his head now. He doesn't like want to be there. Like,
I don't know if that is. I think it's a play caller.
Well, no. McDaniels needs to get it right then.
But I'm saying, like, he's not getting targets. Like, he's not getting fed. Like, he's not getting fed.
Okay, but that requires Carr to throw him the ball.
No, they need to formulate the game plan around him. Like, throw him a bubble screen. That's what Devontae Adams is about. Get him involved in the game. Get him touching the ball, and then have him do, instead of a bubble screen, have him run a wheel route up the side. Unlike all of a sudden he's there, he's open, and then just get him involved in the game. He's like a running back that needs carries. Like
1 catch for 3 yards, bro.
Mm-hmm. But how many targets did he get though?
Targets he had 5.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
5 targets. What? There's no way.
I mean, Hunter Renfrow had a bad game too, so I don't know where all the targets were going.
I don't know who he was throwing to. They didn't do anything on offense. Actually, let me click on this real quick, and then I have one more thing I want to tell you guys about. He threw 101 yards, 15 throws. 7 of those went to Matt Collins. Matt
Yeah,
Collins and Foster Moreau.
like I don't understand what is this relationship with Collins, bro, or Hollins.
Collins?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, who? This dude is just out of any nowhere. He just gets all the targets. I'm like, what in the hell is going
Yeah,
on?
so that's, I mean, if we go off of the idea that Derek Carr is just going to whoever he thinks is open, then maybe he's a poor judge of who's open.
Maybe he
Or
needs to
maybe
understand that what looks like not open is actually open for Devontae.
Yes.
Yeah,
If it's one-on-one, he's open.
Don't get me
he's
wrong.
open.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter. He's open.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's what A-Rod would do. It could be double coverage. He's still open.
To a certain extent,
Ooh.
yeah.
With A-Rod, he's still open.
Oh, that's because he knows where to put the ball, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't rely on Derek Carr to make those kind of throws, though.
One more thing I want to talk about is the Cowboys. So Zeke was out this week. We kind of knew that was coming. We talked about it last week because they were coming up on a bye. What's his name? Pollard went off. He had 14 carries. He had what was it? 131 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
He scored the ball 3 times, and he only caught 1 ball in the backfield. But I will say this. I was reading an article earlier, and it was saying that Pollard was on the sideline talking to the coaches, and he was saying how he was gassed during this game. And that's 14 carries. So this is all to say that team still needs Zeke. I think Pollard gets a little bit more involved, but they need Zeke in the game. Maybe it shifts a little bit more to Pollard is the more featured guy and he earns himself a more series. But Zeke, I think, makes that offense run.
Did you hear what he just said? He said the more featured guy. Not as long as that contract is still $92 million, bro.
Exactly.
Right? He's gonna get the bulk of the carries. He's gonna remain the starter until otherwise proven.
Not only that, but why would you want to wear him out?
Yeah,
wear Zeke out. That's what he can do. He's a bruiser for a reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
You said he's going to be more featured.
He's going to be more featured than he was in previous games. Yes.
No, he's not. He's going to be at the same. Yeah. It's going to be at the same capacity as it was before.
Change of pace.
They're going to still do gadget plays instead of Did you see how much Davis played? That was the same amount of time that doggone Pollard played when Zeke is in. Same amount, bro. Davis played a lot of snaps, and nobody knew who he was before the game.
So he probably. I mean. This last game, he played just as many as he has been playing Pollard-wise. He had 14 carries this last game. He had 12 the game before with Zeke, 11 the week before with Zeke. So we'll see. Maybe he just won't be as efficient.
Yeah, I'm saying the carries is different, though, right? It's a difference how the carries is given. If you're getting selective carries for certain plays, certain series, or hey, you're in. And if we run the ball 6 times this drive, you're going to get the carry 6 times, right? If not, we might throw a couple times. I just think that the difference. I don't think he's a bell cow, right? I think he's a gadget guy, and he's going to be good. I think his same role is not going to change. I think if anything, they might look at more big plays for him to try to put him in them situations. But I don't think he increases workload or 50-50 or anything like that.
I don't think 50-50 either. That's the point I was trying to say with regards to him saying he was tired during the game.
Okay.
He's not.
I thought you said he'd be more featured.
I think they're going to try and game plan things around him a little bit more and be like, oh, we need to get this guy the ball more. But I don't think that increases his workload too much. I mean, he'll probably be around 10 carries a game, which is a lot. I mean, if Zeke's doing another 20.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks.
That's too easy. Let's get to hot takes like hot cakes real quick. I had a couple questions for you guys. So we'll go through these quick. So my first question is, what's the answer for Green Bay?
They need a competent wide receiver.
They give up?
I don't know why they didn't make a move at the trade deadline, honestly.
Who are they going to go get?
They could have gotten Claypool, apparently. Apparently he was available. That guy can make some plays for you. He'd probably be their best receiver. Lazard's not it, dude.
You know they didn't want to give up. They didn't want to give up picks.
Yeah, but
they didn't want to give up draft capital.
They wouldn't have given up a first.
Second round. Yeah, but they weren't giving up a second.
Why
They
not?
just weren't.
Why not?
That's just because that's not their MO. They've never done it.
Well, then they can suck.
Not to say they're smart, but I'm just saying it's
They're wasting
pretty
the
bad.
rest of the window that is Aaron Rodgers, because once he's gone, they're
Jordan
done.
Love ain't it.
Yeah, Jordan Love is
He's
not it.
Okay,
It's
well,
pretty bad, man. Dobbs had a good game that last game, but next week he'll go down. He's up and down, which he's a rookie.
he's just not it. Like,
He's
not the guy yet. Like, he could be the guy potentially down, depending on how he develops, but he's not the guy yet, right? And then Christian Watson is he doesn't even play, right? So
every time he gets injured.
That's what happens when you draft a guy like that from North Dakota State who doesn't even play like that. But anyway, my second question for you guys, or my second question is for Brian. Hey, Ime Udoka, right? Him being the Nets head coach now, can he lead them to the promised land?
No. Too much ego in that locker room. And those guys will never play defense to the level that they need to make it to that level, like to make it to a championship.
So you think that what he had to deal with Boston, a little bit smaller egos, right? But what he has to deal with Boston, he can't control that. Like he got Marcus Smart. Like, relax, Marcus. You ain't that. You ain't him. You don't think he can do that a little bit with KD and Kyrie? Like, listen, guys, just trust me. I didn't got there. Trust me.
Is that before or after he starts sleeping around the locker room with their wives? Just wondering.
Okay, here you go. Here you go. I'm done. I'm done off that. Then my last question is to you, Ryan, right? So Dan Snyder is looking to sell the team, right? He hired Bank of America Securities team to do that, right? What's your thoughts on that? Why hasn't he sold the team by now? And what dirt do you think he has, which is so lethal, which is why none of the NFL owners or the commissioner is forcing him to sell the team?
He 100% has some kind of inside knowledge on whether it's like research about like concussions that he's hiding or them trying to game like I'm dead serious. Like, I'm just speculating. Yeah. He has some kind of inside knowledge, because there's no way that this guy is still an owner of an NFL team. And like, they try to get John Gruden to be the fall guy, and he's the one that got fired for all this stuff that happened with the emails and stuff for his investigation. But this guy hasn't like had any kind of punishment yet. He's had a hostile work environment for women. Like, this team is garbage.
And he said that, listen, I have enough dirt on them to get rid of the whole NFL.
He said that?
Yeah, I saw a little snippet they were talking about that. So I was like,
he probably does.
I said, he's talking real heavy. Like, you talking like that? Like, so
he 100% does, and I am all for him leaving.
Oh, I thought you were about to say all for him ruining the NFL. I was like,
no.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I have for hot takes like hotcakes, man. 3 quick questions at you guys. I just want to get your opinion, and I'm going to make sure I clip up. Brian said that the Nets can't get there.
They can't.
What we got? Ryan's fantasy.
Man, that's messed up. All right, fantasies this week. I forgot. All right.
Start Aaron Rodgers. He's playing Detroit, and they blow.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, he's going to have a bounce back week. I mean, if you're starting Rodgers in that game, you got to also start Dobbs. Tunyon's been getting a ton of targets. He's like the only one that Rodgers like actually has faith in. So that's the tight end I would start. Tua is playing Chicago, and he's got two of the best wide receivers in the league right now, statistically speaking. I think they're both top 12 wide receivers, if they're not in the top 5. Like, anytime that they get the ball in their hands, they're housing it. And then on the other side of the ball, Justin Fields is running the ball a lot more. Whether the Bears like it or not, they're just like, whatever, just go out there and run the ball. And it's been doing good for fantasy. So
he's been doing a lot of designed runs too. It's they know what they're telling him to
run. Yeah, they're telling him to run because they that's what he's best at.
They
right
don't
now.
have an offense.
And the Falcons' defense is not good. So Justin Herbert should have a get-right game. The only issue with Justin Herbert, though, I will say this, is he's without Mike Williams. Keenan Allen was limited in a walkthrough on Monday, but who knows if he plays this week. I'm expecting him to at least play because he played the first half of last game, and then they sat out the second
He's
half.
not.
Why?
Sorry, they said he's just doubtful, man. He had another setback with his hamstring. So.
Jesus, man, this guy.
So he's out. Or no, he's
doubtful.
He's doubtful, right? So he's doubtful. Of course, Mike Williams is out, and so it's whether it be the Joshua Palmer show.
It's the Joshua Palmer show. You're gonna get a DeAndre Carter
Carter's gonna get some action.
Right? Carter had like 7 targets last week, so I mean, he runs close to the line of scrimmage.
Gerald Everett,
and then Gerald Everett, yeah.
Joe Everett is going to be Joe Everett. A lot of action for him for sure.
Eckler's going to need to get like 10 snags at least.
Eckler probably has 20 catches, right?
Mm-hmm.
He probably has 20 catches. Joe Everett, if you get him in DFS, like you definitely need to add him because he's probably going to have 2 tuds, probably 12 catches. Carter might have 4 or 5 catches. Palmer, he's going to have 8, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they have nobody else. I don't even know how many other receivers they have. Maybe Guyton. Maybe Guyton gets a deep ball.
I think Guyton's injured.
Yeah, so
I think they lost him too. The team's a mess, man. We'll see.
We are trash. Right? I think they're doing it so they don't have to give Herbert a lot of money.
No way.
It doesn't make any sense, bro. How do you go from being an effective team to out of nowhere, now you just completely suck? Like, you're playing teams and you're not scoring points anymore. You don't look good, right? It makes you look like Justin Herbert is going through a slump. So then when he's like, hey, listen, I need that $50 million. They're like, no, look at your numbers. You weren't the same guy last year.
He'd go somewhere else. Like, it's simple as that. Come on now. They're not doing that. They're not messing around like that. I just think their coach sucks. And I've always thought this. So it might be time for a new coach come next year.
He's not. I don't. What's it called? Lynn was better than him.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, he's better than him.
Yeah, he was a better coach.
You know what I mean? For sure.
He wasn't an offensive guy though, was he? I think he was a defensive.
No, he's a running back. No, he's a running back.
Was he?
He was. He was a running. Yeah, he's a running backs coach. He was the first running back coach to become a head coach.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So.
Nice.
I always thought he was a defensive guy.
Good tidbit. Hey, the Lions. We talked about the Lions earlier. They suck so bad. So Aaron Jones is also another guy, even though he's like a start every week.
I didn't start him last week and I lost.
Aaron Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you bench?
Because I was scared versus the Bills.
Dude,
I had Tony Pollard, I had Stevenson, and then I had doggone Raheem Mostert. So I was like, well, Miami is not playing anybody, so I think Raheem Mostert is going to eat. And then he didn't. He flopped, and then Aaron Rodgers went off.
Okay.
Jones went off.
Well, I'll say something to you. You always start your studs, no matter what. Aaron Jones.
He's not a stud to me.
Aaron Jones is a stud.
I've had multiple games this year that he's had under 10 points. That's not a stud. Sorry.
Aaron Jones is getting the ball at the receiver position. Like, Rodgers is so desperate to get someone to catch the ball for him. He's throwing him fade routes in the end zone. Like, this guy is getting the ball. Hey, and I'm going to bite my tongue here because this is going to be the end of him. But he's surprised me so much. Miles Sanders is getting the ball in Philly, and he's playing Houston this week. So that's on a Thursday night game. So get him in your lineups. He's going to get you like 3 points, and that's going to be it for the rest of the year. But Miles Sanders is shockingly played very well, but they've given him the ball a ton, so that's good.
Contract year for him, too.
Yep. Mostert against the Bears is a good start. And then Tyler Algier is playing the Chargers. He's their pass-catching guy. If the Chargers can put up points, he's going to be the guy that's going to be on the field for most of the time to try and get them back into the game.
I thought
he could sneak into the end zone as well.
I thought Patterson's coming back. I thought he was off the IR now.
Is he this week?
I saw he returned to practice anyways. So
yeah, but it's probably like that 21-day
window. Yeah,
his open practice window. Yeah.
Okay.
So I doubt they bring him back this.
A sleeper is Carell. I think he's just Carell Williams. I think that's how you say his name, from the Rams, the running back.
Oh,
They like for some reason Sean McVay is big on him. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, you
Henderson's
like how he
playing
look?
pretty bad.
Yeah.
He's been inefficient. Or maybe Cam Akers comes back this week.
No, Cam Akers is done. He said he doesn't want to play for them at all.
Really?
Yeah, he said that. He said I'm not playing for them at
So
all.
either they gotta cut him or
No, they're not cutting him. He's not playing for the rest of the season.
oh wow.
So he's just gonna be inactive.
Hey,
He would rather not come back to the team.
Olave has been a beast for the Saints. I like him. As long as they have injuries on the Saints, I don't know what Michael Thomas is doing, so maybe he doesn't play again this week. That dude just stay hurt. He hurt his toe. He hurt his ankle. Like, this guy's a mess. Tyler Boyd, even though I'm pretty pissed at Tyler Boyd because he was supposed to have a game last week. When did they play? The Monday night game.
Yeah,
he was supposed to have a game. He was supposed to have a game. He was supposed to be great, and he wasn't. But then he catches a touchdown late in the game to like beat me in fantasy, so he can go screw himself. and just do bad, or just put me out of my misery in like the first quarter. Anyways, Juju is playing the Tennessee Titans. Juju's actually had 2 really good fantasy weeks previously. So unless they really like Kadarius Toney and they start getting him involved pretty early, you should get some good work out of Juju this week.
I like Jerry Jeudy. All right. I know they're not playing, but yeah, when they play, like I like how Russell Wilson looked towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Whatever they did at the end of the game, you keep it like that. Sutton's trash.
Sutton's trash. Sutton.
But I told y'all he was trash. Y'all say no, he's not. I'm like, nah, Jerry Jeudy is better than him.
I think he fits Russell Wilson's style a lot better.
Yeah. They don't play this week. They're on a bye, but I just wanted to add that in. My bad.
My boy Evan Ingram's playing the Raiders. Start him. He's getting a ton of targets at the tight end position. So you want to keep him on the field. Gerald Everett, we talked about him already. And Zach Ertz, Mr. Target. Because that's the only one that Kyler Murray has eyes for.
No, D Hop will be getting a lot of targets too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, D Hop gets his targets.
But that's a guarantee.
You know who is another one? Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
He's been playing so well.
Yeah. He's been getting a lot of targets too.
That's all I got.
So.
Wow.
Too easy, man.
Over Mondre Stevenson, love? Come on now.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't
play in the Colts.
Sorry, I mostly like to go over teams that are
least expected
playoff teams. Yeah, least expected players. But he's, to me, Ramondre Stevenson, if I need to say this, he's an automatic start every week.
Ooh. Every week, huh?
Every week.
Until he shows me that he's not going to get 7 catches out of the backfield. Like,
all right. I'm sorry.
I got you.
I'll let you go. Thank you.
Yeah. I digress.
I have him in my lineup this week. So,
well, we appreciate it for Ryan Fantasies, man. Make sure you guys are taking those notes and putting those guys in your lineup. Hey, listen, man. I'm not going to even say anything about BK Bets. We had some picks last week, and like I feel like I've been going 50-50. I need to do better, right? So this week we're going to go Tennessee, right? It started at 11.5. I don't know why the hell it was that high versus Georgia, right? But they bought it down. It's at +8 right now. I'm taking that. I'm taking the +8 for Tennessee. I like Oklahoma State. I know they had a bad week last week, but they bounced back against Kansas. They're -2. I would just take that money line. I like Texas at Kansas State. I know Kansas State had a good week, right? But normally when teams play baller like that, they flop the next week, right? So I like Sarkisian going in there and riding them up a little bit. I like that -3. Then the Bama, we play against LSU, dust their ass off. That's -13. And then Clemson is going to play against Notre Dame. I think this is going to be a statement game. I will push it down to 2.5. And then the same thing with UCLA playing against Arizona State. They had a bad week last week. I think Chip Kelly get the boys and get back on track this week at -9.5. If I'm taking my 3-teamer, I'm going to take the Clemson 2.5, Bama. Then I'm most likely going to take Tennessee, and that'll be my 3.
Nice. All right. Yeah, just like Kenny, we're not going to talk about last week because that was my worst week of the whole season. So I've got a 3-teamer for you. We're going to take the over in the Minnesota-Washington game. I like the spark that Heineke's given that team, and so I think that they're going to put up some points. So it should be a competitive game. It's only at 43.5. So, you're talking 22 apiece. It should be done easy. So like Seattle +2 at Arizona. I actually think they're going to go in there and win that game. Pete Carroll is putting another notch in the old resume this year. So he's got that team playing very well. Very unexpected. And then my third team, I have Green Bay -3.5 at Detroit. We're going to go ahead and take that down to 2.5 just to be on the safe side. But they should win that game by a field goal. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I like those three. Like, I think that's probably your best picks thus far this season. I like those three. No, like for real. Like I like those three. Um, and before I let you guys go, hey, did you know that they're supposed to be doing the mobile? I think either this week or next week. They're supposed to be.
I saw November 21st is when they could possibly have the licensing, or they go
Hmm,
before the licensing commission or whatever it
I
is.
thought they. Well, I thought they did that last week.
So it was like they fast tracked 10 different sports books in Maryland to go ahead and go to the next process.
Okay.
Usually it's a more drawn out process, but now they should all be seen by the whatever the committee is or commission by the 21st of November. And then I don't know what steps they have to go beyond that. But
Yeah,
if that's the last
it's still
step,
closer.
then maybe we're going to see it by the end of the month.
Too easy. Well, guys, for all our Marylanders out there, that's some little tidbits for you guys. Make sure if you have any gambling problems, call that little hotline number. Right? We're not saying gamble your money away, but it's going to be a very more efficient to just do it from your phone. Right? Watching the game, you can do it more for your phone. And college basketball is going to pick up. It's going to be a lot more easy wins. Probably be able to get some money every night. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys. We love the love and support. Follow us on all the socials. Make sure you get your lineup for fantasy. Make sure you put your bets in. Let's win some money in some games this week. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.